Good morning, everyone. You can hear me well back there? Fantastic. A startup recently told me they had built AI to raise your child. Not support, not assist, raise your child. And I asked them, well, does it teach kindness? And the founder said, well, not on the free plan. And that's really, the best explanation of where we are today. Because if you remember, we set out a decade ago, James, to democratize access and opportunity, level the playing field, create tools to save humanity. And what we got instead are AI algorithms that radicalized your Uncle Bob, made teenage girls cry, and gave you 4-hour targeted ads for Tesla because you said it's hailing outside from your kitchen window. And if a new lease on a swastika isn't bad enough, most big tech AI leaders predict that within the year, 10 to 20% of all platform code will be written by AI. So we're not just talking about replacing doctors and lawyers and writers. We're talking everyone. AI's great replacement theory, as I call it. And at least it's not an unequal opportunity offender. It's coming for the very people that helped build it. And this is before we get to AGI, artificial general intelligence, where the AI gets smarter than any doctor or lawyer or engineer. Or the holy grail of the kindness comes with the premium option tech pros, ASI, or artificial superintelligence, where the AI gets smarter than all human intelligence collectively. Mission accomplished, humanity upgraded. The reality, though, is that we're living in economic chaos, an AI arms race, and the future of human interaction outsourced to the hands of people who sleep on beanbags in the office and think that human connection is a use case in beta, but a really well-funded beta. Last year, $280 billion was invested in AI worldwide. Last quarter, $60 billion. Our beloved Web3 crawled to a little $2 billion last quarter, which kind of goes to prove that if you say decentralization enough times, someone will feel sorry enough and give you some money. But most of the VCs kept investing in things that end in Vidya or GPT, LLMs really, without really investing in things that, I don't know, solve actual problems. And this is very similar to 2016, 2017. The world was investing in 500 layer ones because, if you invest in 500, maybe we'll have some decentralization. Layer one protocols with just a white paper and new language and a logo that sounds like a Norwegian heavy metal album, Ethereum and EOS and Tezos and near and far and somewhere in between protocol. And this hope that, if we invest in enough layer ones, maybe we'll decentralize the world. Well, it's super similar the last few years with LLMs. Everyone's building one. Every week you have a new foundational model built on the same scraped data with the moral compass of a drunk raccoon. And the reality is that, the hope is that if we build enough of these LLMs, maybe one of them will actually become useful. So you build 500, fund 500. But here's the interesting thing. Most of those 500 in Silicon Valley, 75% of all of these AI dollars went into the US. More than 2/3 of that within a few zip codes of San Francisco. You know, I've thought a lot about this draw to the valley. You know, the rest of the world has been sort of saying, look, we want to be a little part of the future. Look, we've even brought tea. But the reality is that what's happening in the US right now, and keep the politics and the, you know, all of the tariffs aside, once they're done with their 350% tariffs on penguins to get highly processed fish fingers, there's a bunch of laws being passed that actually make a lot of sense. The first one you've probably heard of already, the creation of the Strategic Digital Asset Reserve. It's not just Bitcoin, but as you know, James, we talked about this recently. It's Ethereum and Solana and Cardano, and they've kept it open for additional cryptocurrencies and tokens. And the second piece, which is trying to take tokens out of the clutches of the SEC so that you can have currencies and you can have commodities, you can even have utility tokens. And the third piece that they're looking to push through, which is the abolishing of carried interest on crypto gains just for tokens issued in the US, because after all, it's only make America great. The combination of all of these could represent one of the greatest transfers of wealth from traditional assets to these new assets. Merrill Lynch advisors are going to be advising their retail and institutional clients to move 10% of their investments into digital assets. And if you're not paying attention to this in your boardroom conversations, you might be managing the wrong future. You know, we like to think that AI and Web3 and exponential tech in general are global, just not its capital. You know, like I was saying, I've been thinking about this a lot. I lived in San Francisco for 21 years and coordinated a ton of capital. When I left in 2021, I truly believed this could happen anywhere. Here in London, Crypto Valley in Switzerland, the numbers don't bear that to be true, though. You know, I've been back in San Francisco a lot lately, and it all starts to make sense. It's the culture. It's the genuine appreciation of risk. It's the celebration of the audacity of founders and their ideas, dumb as many of them might be. Another dozen billion-dollar models that can summarize your emails or your childhood traumas. They're building rocket ships to deliver chicken wings. You know, Carl Jung said people don't have ideas. Ideas have people. And in reality, it's the heroes behind those ideas that capture the people. Generative AI didn't become a thing because of new math. A hero came along like a rocket ship, ChatGPT. Gen AI didn't give us ChatGPT. ChatGPT gave us Gen AI. Take the iPhone, same thing. Tesla didn't give us electric cars, but it was the hero that made it the daily driver for Iron Man. Heroes drive the movement that actually create the category, not vice versa. And so the question is, what are the heroes here? What are the heroes we're creating and backing? Buckminster Fuller has a great quote: "We are called to be the architects of the future, not its victims." We took Bucky really seriously at Rainfall as we were thinking about the future. We built the world's first self-sovereign, privacy-focused AI. It's private, it's local, and it helps people generate and monetize the story of their lives using the devices they own. No data centers the size of Essex, no vacuuming up everyone's data to sell them a yoga mat. Just AI that creates the true reflection of your life. is in your control and works for you. We call this each person's digital aura, and it's private by default and ownership by design. You know, I sit on the Global Mobility Council of BMW. I served on the board of the Norwegian Refugee Council. It's the frontier refugee agency in the world. And whether it's Susan, the mother of two who drives a 150,000-pound i7, or Rashida, the mother of two who's escaped genocide in Syria and lives in one of our camps in Lebanon, the true responsibility and power of exponential technology is to create a net positive impact on their lives. Let me ground this for you. Like Rashida, there are 110 million displaced people in the world today. Their data has more value than their labor. And we're doing some fun things as well. We recently formed a partnership with the Grammy award-winning iconic music producer, Vassal Benford. He's produced Aerosmith and Bon Jovi and J-Lo and Diplo and recently Rihanna and Justin Bieber. We're taking artist-fan interactions together and using privacy-preserving AI to make those conversations safer and more valuable. New releases, artist rights, on-chain. We're doing this with their existing devices and actually using green decentralized compute from our friends at Kudo, proving that you don't have to burn down the Casbah to chit-chat with Prince, not Andrew, the guy who gave us Purple Rain. And with that, we're also trying to solve one of the big challenges that we see in the Web3 space, which, let's be honest, is an echo chamber of largely recycled attention. We're looking to bring in the next billion users, not on that 2016 promise, but a 2025 reality. Because the way we see it, the future won't be built on the next trillion transaction parameter model. It'll be built on trillion act movements of self-sovereign individuals and their communities. You know, the school of public opinion is starting to converge with the regulatory winds. Privacy, data ownership, user control, provenance. Do we want the A in AI to stand for the artificial replacement of the human or the augmentation of our intelligence? Make us better, more performant at the things we like doing instead of being replaced by autocomplete. You know, we have an amazing opportunity right now. It's an inflection moment from a technology perspective. It's an inflection moment from a political perspective. Do we build systems that surveil or serve? Do we allow people to be augmented or anxious? Do we allow systems to reflect people's aura or their addictions? You know, we can wait for the next power-hungry, carbon-spewing, authoritarian-loving hero, or we can build one of, by, and for the people, for Susan, for Rashida, for each of us. I love Ram Dass's quote, "At the end of the day, we are just walking each other home." And it's really important that we make sure that that road is worth walking. Thank you.